people, how are you doing? Welcome back to this show. In case you're new here, my name is Divina Nyarangi, and on today's episode of Health and Lifestyle, we're going to talk about cutting down sugar intake. Kindly remember to subscribe to join the family. So sugar is the carbohydrate component of food that we take into our bodies as glucose for energy levels. We all know that. But then, how much sugar is recommended into our bodies and what type of sugar is good for our bodies? That's what we're going to look at. To start us off, we got two types of sugars. That is the processed and the natural sugars. So the natural sugars, just from the word natural, we get them from the natural sugars from honey, from fruits and vegetables. Fruits like apples, pineapples, they normally have their own sweetness. And the honey is used as, actually it's normally used as an option for sugar, for those who don't take sugar. And then we have the processed sugar. So for the processed sugar is normally the brown or white sugar that is found in most food substances. So we're going to look at, actually our bodies need sugar, yes. It's very essential for energy levels, you know that. But then, a lot of sugar is not healthy for our bodies. Just like anything taken in excess is not healthy to our bodies. So we're going to look at what a lot of sugar causes into our bodies. So before we look at what excess sugar can do into our bodies, we get to know that sugar has a number of names, by the way. You can check on Google. There's so many, over 60, over 50. There's so many. And I also don't know all of them, but I know of some few that are commonly used. So it's good to take note of that, so that when you go buying a drink and you think it doesn't have sugar, the names behind on the, what is it called, the nutrition facts about that product, that food item that is used to replace the name sugar, so that just to mix up your mind. So we have maltose, glucose, and fructose, yes. All those names are used to refer to sugar. So number one causes of excess intake of sugar is it causes a lot of acne, diabetes, weight gain, and early aging. Actually, to start off with acne, a lot of sugar will make your skin to be oily, and when your skin, if you have an experience with an oily skin, you know it, like the oily skin is normally prone to acne. It's very hard by the way to maintain an oily skin because most of the time it is shiny. You get, it's very oily, by the way, not the normal oily. So when the skin is oily, the pores are normally clogged. That's the effect of the sugar, that there's excess sugar in our bodies. So when the pores are clogged, they're going to cause an outbreak of acne, a severe outbreak of acne. Normally at some age, maybe teens, or at during your growth, there's an age that you experience acne breakout, which is normal, also due to hormonal changes. But when you also take a lot of sugar, that also causes a lot of acne. Weight gain comes in a way that, when we take a lot of sugar is normally taken for energy into our bodies. But when we take a lot of it, the body is not able to break it down so that it's used for the energy. So what happens? The excess sugar is going to be stored as fat in our bodies, and then you end up having obesity, weight gain, excess weight gain. And then that's why in most cases as well, you get someone has the belly, stomach that we normally don't want. Yeah, it causes that as well. Sugar as well causes early aging. Those are wrinkles. So when you take a lot of sugar, the skin is going to become loose. It doesn't, the skin has its own elastic measure. So when you have a lot of sugar into your body, it like loosens your skin. So you start having those two lines over here, and then you look like you're old and you're still young. So on diabetes, a lot of sugar into the body compromises the effect of insulin in the body, like the effect of insulin into the body. And then what happens next? The body cells become resistant to this hormone, and then that ends up causing type 2 diabetes. But this is a very common effect of sugar intake. So kindly reduce the sugar intake. We're going to look at the recommended amount of sugar that you're going to take. But diabetes is normally a very common effect of excess sugar intake, especially in the African countries. So the other effect is tooth decay. This is so common, especially with the little children. So what happens? You feed your kid with sweets, candy, ice creams. At the end of the day, they have cavity in their tooth. So in case you're having something sugary, after that, remember to brush your teeth and maybe make regular visits to your dentist. That can help. The other thing is that sugar intake may also cause sugar rush. Have you ever been with those people that in 1 minute you're just seated, you're okay? Maybe the vibe is not that high or good, but once they take something sugary, they're so hyper, they're so vibed up, Actually, that's what happens. The sugar levels normally, like they shoot up your, it can't be moods. They like shoot up your energy levels. They cause high and low energy levels. They can't keep it up there or down there. So with such a person, you find that it's very hard for him or her to concentrate when the sugars are low. Like when she has not had a sweet thing, the sugar intake is not there. So like the person has become so addictive. Sugar can never satisfy someone. If you're taking something sweet, you always want to take it more and more, So that is going to cause addiction for one. And then the other thing, you're not able to operate well. Your body does not operate at 100% without the sugar. So the moment you get used to that, it's like alcohol. Those people who can't operate without alcohol, like for them to speak or for them to attend a meeting somewhere and be productive, they have to take a glass. That's the same cause that sugar does to our bodies. So it's good that we reduce the intake as well. The other thing is that sugar can cause gas, by the way. A lot of people normally have gas problems with their stomachs. So it's due to establish what's the problem with my stomach. Is it the sugars or is it something else? Because sugars are also part of the gas issue. Because just as we had said, the body needs a recommended amount of sugar. So the moment you take a lot of sugar that is not absorbed by the body, it becomes gassy in the stomach. So you'll feel bloated and uncomfortable in your stomach. The other thing as well, sugar may cause muscle and joint pains. These will mostly be experienced at a late age, maybe 50s and above. When you start having aches, joint aches, maybe your knees, here, muscle pains, yeah. So having discussed the causes of excess sugar intake, we're going to look at how you can avoid, how you're going to cut off your sugar intake. These are a few tips that are going to help you on how to reduce your sugar intake. So number one, we're going to start with avoiding fizzy drinks. So fizzy drinks are those drinks that when you open, there's that sound that comes up, you know, the gas that comes up. You know them. I don't want to mention the names. They come in orange. Is that purple or, you know, orange, colorless, very many colors. Especially in this weather, the way it's very hot. You take them and then you feel so good especially when they're cold. Those drinks are not healthy, by the way. The way you open and then that gas comes out, I mean, those drinks are not healthy at all. Replace them with a glass of water. Yes, a cold bottle of water. That will do you good. You know, you must just train your body. You must just train your brain. It's a conscious decision you're making. So at the end of the day, you'll feel good having them. You'll feel relaxed and cool, but then you'll have done your body a very big harm. So those drinks, avoid them. Another thing is reading the food labels. How many of you goes to a supermarket to shop, and then before picking on that juice or anything you want to pick, at least you get to see the ingredients, whatever makes this thing? I know it's so hard. Well, it's a struggle, I know, but calm down. It's your money. Take your time. Whatever you're buying, it's for your own benefit. You know, the way I said earlier, these drinks, actually no, the sugars can be in these products, but just on the label, it's labeled no added sugar, no preservative. But the moment you turn the item on the other side, because they normally have their nutrition effects or their nutrition values behind the item, there's some glucose 16%, there's some maltose 10%, and then you're so happy, like, oh, my drink does not have any added sugar. That maltose is sugar, that glucose is sugar. That's what I was saying. You can go check the very many names of sugar. And then the other thing, just be conscious. Anything with this dose, glucose, the O thing, that's sugar. Syrup, you know, the sugar syrup, whatever syrup, be keen on that. It's kind of hard, especially when you're in a rush, but just check. It's for your own benefit. It's going to help you at last, in future, and even now. The other thing is about reducing sugar. You train your taste buds. You know, if you can, I mean, sugar is there to make everything sweet. If you're preparing porridge, for it to taste sweet, it has to have sugar. You know, if you're preparing a tea, for it to taste sweet, it has to have sugar. But then it's about training your taste buds. At the moment, if you were doing 5 spoons of sugar, you start doing 2. You know, with time your tongue is going to get used to the 2. With time, you're going to go sugarless. That's the greatest thing you can ever do. I mean, you don't need all that sugar. 1 spoon, even a half, even a quarter is just enough. So it's about training your taste buds so that it doesn't get used to a lot of sugar. You know, whenever you've put your porridge 2 spoons, you feel like, that's not sugar. You'll want to go and add more. Yeah, so training your taste bud is really going to help you on cutting down sugar. The other thing is avoiding junk and desserts. You know, the 2 cakes that we like, meat pies, sausage rolls, the ice creams, all those things are not healthy to our bodies. The way we mentioned, if you want to have such stuff, replace it with a glass of water. If not a glass of water, prefer the natural fruit itself. Take the natural juice. That is going to do you a long way, because these are the things that are going to push you into sugar addiction, that are going to push you into more sugars, and at the end of the day, you're not able to cut off your sugar. At the end of the day, you're suffering diabetes, you're suffering weight increase, you're suffering a lot of diseases because of sugar. The other thing is avoiding processed foods. Now, when squeezy, we like processed foods. Our breakfast consists of sausage, bacon, and bread. You know, carbohydrate and these processed foods. We have canned beans, canned pineapples, the marmalades, jam, all the processed foods. All the processed foods, by the way, have added sugar in them. Let's avoid them. Let's avoid them and opt for the natural foods. Our grandmothers used to have natural foods, like for the breakfast. They used to have cassava, sweet potatoes, arrowroots, and porridge. And they never suffered all these illnesses. Currently, we're having a lot of diseases. And not just a lot of diseases, but they're affecting people at young ages. Currently, we're having people of a lower age suffering high blood pressure, diabetes, which was an illness meant for a very older age, or meant for the older aged people. But currently, that's what we're suffering, simply because whatever is coming to the market, whatever our intake is not just healthy. So the moment you replace, you can't just have your plain tea with honey. Actually, we used to have plain porridge. If you happen to have sugar in porridge, that's like luxury, or once in a while. It was not a must. It was not mandatory for you to just have sugar in your house. But currently, sugar is basic. So yes, it's basic, but how is it going to be taken? How is the body responding to it? What is the long-term effect? So the processed foods are to be cut off and do your life with natural foods. Do the apples, the strawberries, the pineapples for the sweetness, if you want something sugary. Water to replace the drinks that we talked about. So the other thing is watching your meal plan. Now these are decisions you have to make. It's like creating a meal plan. In our busy days, we don't realize that on a normal day, we consume a lot of carbohydrates. You had bread for lunch, something, and then bread for breakfast, lunch, you had rice, ugali, dinner. At the end of the day, you're complaining of bloating, you're complaining of this and that. When you have a meal plan, you don't have to write a timetable, but at least today breakfast I'm going to have my tea with some sweet potatoes. Lunch I'll have rice, and then supper I'm going to have this. I'll have my bowl of vegetables. It's going to help you plan on your nutrition intake, on your nutrition value in your life. It's very hard, I know, when you're rushing and all that, but it doesn't take long. It's just you to tell yourself, today breakfast I'm going to have this, lunch this, and then at the end of the day your whole thing is planned, and then from that you're healthy. From that your meals are balanced. Just as we said, yes, sugar is essential, but from that you're going to reduce the sugar intake. By the way, that is going to help you reduce the sugar intake. You're not going to have a lot of carbohydrates in a whole day. That is going to help you to cut off the amount of sugar that you're going to take in a day. The amount of sugar recommended in a day should be like 2 teaspoons. But we end up doing 5, maybe lunch 2, we had dinner 2, and the other one 2. All that is 6, some are 8 or 10. So if you work towards that, our bodies are going to be healthy. I hope this video is going to help you on cutting down sugar so that your body is able to operate or function at its maximum. Thank you for watching the video. Kindly remember to subscribe, comment, and share the video to your friends, family, so that they all know all about sugar and excess sugar intake, so that it can able to help you and help someone else. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.